Ben and Joe from PHS, and we're here to tell you why ReString Zero is brilliant. Stay tuned. Today we've got well, I say a brand new string, but a very new player in the string market, and that is a company called ReString. This is their signature string, Zero. Now, it comes highly recommended. A lot of people in the comments on our YouTube channel saying, you must try this. This is the best string out there. So we wanted to give it a go. And I tell you what, they're not far off.
Yeah, really nice. So tell me about ReString, Joe.
So the company started a few years ago. Two friends who had played a very good level of tennis and wanted to enter into the sort of into the string market. And they're completely carbon neutral. They focus on sustainability. Part of the durability, the desire for durability in the strings is so that we're cutting them out less and using less plastic.
I did not know that. That's good.
Yeah, that's the idea behind it. And it seems like the company's coming from a really good place in terms of wanting to change the market for the good. And not only in a sustainable way, but also quality string. It's a performance string, but they're trying to do it in an environmentally sound, sustainable, carbon neutral way, which is commendable.
Well, the other thing is that they were really good to us, right?
They were absolutely
very welcome, like very on board. They weren't pushy in terms of what they wanted us to say or anything like that. It was yeah, please just give us a nice, honest review. So this is our honest review. It comes in 1.28 and 1.23. We've tried both in the two pure drives, and we've also tried again in the E zone to see whether the racket's making much of an difference, so we get a fair enough test. As always, we are rigorous in our control and making sure that we give the string or whatever product it is we're reviewing the best possible chance to shine. So these were strung at 53, and actually it was too tight. Yep, definitely too tight.
It was too tight, so it needed a good couple of hours of play to soften up down to about 50, 49 when we retested it, and that's where it started to really play beautifully. The big selling point of ReString Zero is its ability to generate spin, and it does that with sensational snapback. Now what this means is that when you pull the strings down, or when they're creating loads of topspin and the strings are moving, they move back, and this is partly due to a lubricated coating on the string. And what this does is it means that the strings come back, giving you greater consistency of string bed because the strings come back to where they are. It gives you greater durability because there's less friction in general over the strings, and it also gives you more spin because of that movement in the strings and the bite that you get.
And I think the thing to say at this point is, it's not a gimmick. It's not just sales speak. You can feel it, right? It does actually make a difference.
Yeah.
Which, you know, quite often with a lot of these things and a lot of rackets and strings, they say, oh, it does this, 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 and this. And quite often, you don't really feel it.
Yes.
Instantly, both of us, first impression was, well, this racket's really lively. Was the word we both used. We went with lively. Yeah,
definitely right. And I think that if you're someone like me that plays with a lot of topspin, then you don't lose any control. It will give you loads of spin. It will give you a great deal of power. One of our other coaches, Josh, found that he's losing a bit of control, but he tends to play a bit flatter than I do. For me, with generating spin, I felt like I had plenty of control. I could really open up and go for it without losing that. It's really, really impressive string.
Yeah, the other thing is obviously the E-Zone and the Pure Drive are very powerful rackets, and it didn't feel like I was playing with a really powerful racket. The string did make a difference.
Yeah,
it did provide a lot of spin. It did create some control, which with a Pure Drive especially is a pretty remarkable thing.
Yeah, exactly. The plan is for Ben to string his racket, which is a head speed, in the same string, because again, a lot of people have said in things like the speed, the radical, the blade, it really excels even more. So we'll be really looking forward to trying that as well.
So the reason I'm gonna keep playing with these strings is just to give you a bit of a broader review, basically. So it's all well and good saying they feel lively when we first string them. Almost every string feels great when you first use it. It's, well, how long is it going to last? What's it feel like when it loses a bit of tension over time? How much tension does it lose? So that's the idea, is we're going to be a little bit more thorough in a month or so. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. Stay tuned. Don't leave the channel.
No.
Don't leave the channel for a month.
Yeah, you might miss out.
What I also did, for a bit of control, for a bit of comparison, was to also use an E-Zone with Polytour Pro in. It's a string I really like. It's a very good string. It doesn't have the same snapback. It doesn't generate the same amount of spin. And actually, having played with ReString Zero for a while, I went back to playing with the Polytour and I was like, it feels a little bit dead. It feels a little bit, boring. I don't know. But whereas the Zero is lively and fun and
Yes,
explosive.
If you get loads of spin, it's really lively. It's that type of string.
Yes.
It's fun. It's just a fun thing.
Yeah.
Cool. So obviously we had exactly the same racket. We had 2 different gauges. So obviously there's not a huge amount of difference between 1.23 mil and 1.28 mil. It's 0.05 of a millimetre. It's not a significant margin. And to be honest, there wasn't a huge amount of difference. Yes, the thinner gauge felt a bit more lively. Yes, you got a little bit more spin. You can feel it cutting the ball. But in terms of outcome, there wasn't a huge amount of difference. So obviously smaller, thinner gauged strings are going to give you less durability. They're going to give you less tension maintenance. They do give you more spin, more power, more comfort. But what I'm saying now is I don't think there's much of a trade-off. I would go with the thicker gauge for the added durability and tension maintenance, because you're not losing that much.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see over a bit of time whether the 123 loses a lot of tension.
Yeah, if it breaks quicker, I suppose.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Initially, there's not a huge amount of playability difference. I would say.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
In terms of budget, it's not a cheap string. So I think probably the benchmark for a high quality poly is Selinko Hyper G, everybody's favourite.
Used to be.
We used to be everybody's favourite, yeah. And this is quite a bit more expensive. So at $14, obviously we can do various conversions for pounds, but you can use Google and do that yourself. $14 for ReString, whereas only $8 for Hyper G. So quite a difference in the price, but I much prefer this string. It feels much more fun.
Yeah.
Selinko Hyper G feels like a bargain. This feels like real quality. Give ReString Zero a try. It's really, really good. We really look forward to getting it in more of our rackets and playing with it for longer, because it might well be one of those strings that really sticks with us.
Yeah, and I think that's really good advice for all you watching and listening. It's exactly the same. Just give it a try. The same with any string. You know, there is very, very homogeneous product tennis strings. There's not a huge amount of difference. They are all different, but it's a small, and you're just going to find something that you like. And when you find one you like, stick with it, give it a go. If you fancy changing, you know, we offer our opinion. We can tell you what we found. Nothing is going to inform you like your own experience, I guess.
Exactly. All right, get out there and get playing. And actually, it's a string that I really like. It's a very good swing.
Try that again. Cool. Wrap up. Price.
Yeah, done price.